do that, Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha is at home. And this is after the death of Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha. Fatima is at home, a young girl who should not have to witness such a thing from her father. And she hears what is happening to her father alayhi salatu wasalam in front of the Kaaba. She goes out and she is in tears as she is trying to clean off the back of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what Uqba had put on his back. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam comforts Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha, and he tells her that do not be sad, Allah will give victory to your father. And the Prophet ﷺ also at that moment made dua against some of those people whom we would find would be killed in Badr. And so, subhanAllah, that is a moment that captures a great deal of arrogance from Uqba bin Abi Mu'ayt and captures a great deal of sadness on the part of the Prophet ﷺ and on Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha, and shows a man who was willing to descend to the lowest of low to prove his arrogance and to prove his opposition to our beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, when this happens and you see this scene, unfolding, think about the children of that man. Think about what they were nurtured upon, the hatred of the Prophet ﷺ that they were taught. And remember that the Prophet ﷺ had hope in the children of his enemies. He had hope for many of his enemies, and especially the next generation, the children of those enemies. And subhanAllah, out of all people, this man, all 6 of the children of Uqba became Muslim. All 6 of them became Muslim. We know Ikramah bin Abi Jahl became Muslim, for example. In the case of this man, all 6 of his children, Al-Walid ibn Uqba, who in fact would go on to be a governor under Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, a governor of, I believe, Kufa. Ammara became Muslim. Khalid, the son of Uqba bin Abi Mu'ayt, became Muslim. Hakim became Muslim. Hind became Muslim. But there is one that stands out amongst them, and that is the woman that we are speaking about today, who is Kulthum bint Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayt. Kulthum bint Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayt. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with Kulthum, the daughter of Uqba bin Abi Mu'ayt. So she is a person who will precede her siblings in Islam, and of course, whose father will pass away in a humiliated way as he tried to humiliate the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, Kulthum radiallahu ta'ala anha is also the sister of Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, in that they had the same mother. So she's the half sister of Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu ta'ala anhu, because they shared the same mother, whose name was Arwa bint Qurayz. So Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, of course, we know his position in Islam and how early on he became Muslim. They have the same mother. What is she distinguished by in terms of her Islam? Not just the fact that she embraced Islam early on. She didn't wait until the Fath, until the conquest, where many of the children of the enemies of the Prophet ﷺ and the enemies themselves became Muslim. But in fact, she became Muslim at a very inconvenient time. And she is known as the first woman to make hijrah alone from her parents' home. What does this mean? She wasn't married, she was single, and she leaves the home of her family to go and to join the Prophet ﷺ. And this was right around the time of Hudaybiyah. So this is not around the time of the hijrah from Mecca to Medina that we know of, but rather this is around the time of Hudaybiyah. Now, if you remember from the story of Abu Jandal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, one of the conditions of Hudaybiyah was to return anyone from Medina to Mecca when they came to the Prophet ﷺ. So if anyone from Mecca came to join the Prophet ﷺ in Medina, the condition of Hudaybiyah was that they would be returned.